All right, rock and roll. Welcome, friend and foe, sinner and saint, to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I'm your host tonight, or today, I guess we should say, right? Even though I'm recording it at night, usually it doesn't get out to people till the next day. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. It's kind of an interesting day here in Southern California. We've been having a really warm winter. We actually need the rain quite a bit, but it doesn't seem like the heavens above have bestowed that upon us. And today we got kind of a weird weather. I live in the mountains, and my mom, she's just a weather fiend. I'm so lucky to see her, and she's, she says, "Oh, we're going to get some weather," and I'm not really even sure what that means, and I don't really want to ask her because then she's going to give me an in-depth 10-minute explanation of this is coming from the Sierra Madres and the Sierra Nevada and all that, and there's only so long I can feign interest, right? I mean, at some point you got to say uncle and go, "Mom, when I wake up, if I see it's raining, I'll put a coat on. If I see the sun out, I put the t-shirt on." Yeah. Hey, I know you look at me as a fashion plate, a fashion icon, but hey, there's days I look scruggy, which is actually probably every day, right? Super producer Stacy could vouch for that, I'm sure. But I came out this morning and there was frost all over my car. And I mean, it was white, like Tony Montana's den in Scarface, right? There's just white everywhere. And I was going to my mom's house, dealing with a computer issue, putting in a new computer, which, boy, oh boy, there's some apprehension there, right? My mom's had the same computer for literally like 300 years, right? And, she look, when you get older, you don't like anything out of the ordinary. Like when I talk to my parents, I talk to my mom, her idea of problems is two people ahead of her at the pharmacy. Okay, that is literally scorched earth, right? Like this program, right? And so the new computer, bringing in a computer, trying to import the old data into the new, some happens, some doesn't. It's literally, it's a scary thing. It's like defusing a bomb. Things can go sideways at any point. So what do I do? What do I do? I know what you're saying. You're saying, "John, you're so cool. You're so good looking. You don't have anything between the ears." You'd probably be wrong on the first one and correct on the second one. But I thought, hey, why not bring in super producer Stacy? Because when she's not out there feeding orphan squirrels, God bless her, she calls her squirrel Blackie, and she showed me the video. And I got to be honest with you, the whole thing's brown. Maybe there's a black patch on the back I didn't see, but and she's so sweet about it. She goes, "Oh, it eats out of my hand." And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, you put food there. You put a hamburger in your hand, homeless people are going to come up and eat out of it. I mean, what do you think the squirrel's going to do? And she goes, "Well, they get scared of people." I go, "Yeah, you're right. At some point, hunger outweighs fear. It really does, All I got to say is go to a buffet in Vegas. You'll see where hunger outweighs fear, because believe me, I ain't going to eat that Petri dish. No thanks. But if I was hungry enough, give me 2 plates, please, and a dessert. Thank you very much. That's how I get round. And so I was watching my dad. I was hanging out with my dad. We were watching TV. And Stacy and my mom are in there literally for 5 hours. And I'm worried about Stacy. I'm worried about my mom, but not really. Like, they're in there, and I'm like, wow, I'm never going to see Stacy again. She is literally in prison, that poor thing, right? Comes out. She's always smiling. So, "Oh, well, good." We go in there at the end, and, figure out a couple little things. And, I was like, okay, I know tomorrow when I go to my mom's house, there's going to be some issues. I know there is going to be. I'm going to just tell her, just put them on a list. And super producer Stacy will come in next week and we'll all clean it all up. It doesn't matter when you deal with old people, and maybe I'm in that category. If 98% of the stuff works, it's that 2% that literally is like the Rock of Gibraltar on their back. My mom puts up a lot. She's much more patient than I, okay? I ain't Job. I'm John. Okay, you just remember that. For all you people who don't follow the Bible, I can't help you on that one. Yeah, I'm not going to help you on that. Watch Mission Impossible 1. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right. We're off and running. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to give you a couple of the stories before we start dealing into it. I'm going to tell you what they are. It's the topics of the day, let's call it that. Let's see how this all works, right? And then I'll go into depth on each one of the stories. Trump has anointed himself the king of tariffs. We're going to do about Elon is supposedly stepping down. We're going to give you the motive for the horrendous Nashville shooting 2 years ago. And finally, we're going to give you hopefully a little depressing news about a pardon that Donald Trump gave out last Friday. Yeah. And we're off and running, taking no prisoners, telling no lies. Our esteemed president, Donald Trump, was in the Rose Garden yesterday, and we had quite a bit going on. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Just be kind, and we will get to it. Don't you fret, youngsters. Don't you fret. I could tell you that guy in the red hat's probably going to get laid off in about 3 weeks. Those stairs don't look like they're to code.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Yeah, it is. It's going to liberate you from your cash.
Waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn. The day,
just like October 29th, 1929 was the beginning of the new stock market.
America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again.
This coming from a billionaire.
And starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary.
Now, try and follow what he's going to say here for literally the next 30 seconds. And I will tell you something. If you can follow accurately what he is saying and actually digest it and actually understand it, I will nominate you for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Barriers and other forms of cheating, but we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that.
What in the Christ's sake is he saying? He said they're reciprocal, and then literally 30 seconds later, he's saying they're not. Jesus, Lord, help us.
Yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. If you look at that.
We're not even going to go into the chart. At some point. He basically announced, and I'm gonna go out here on the limb, and because that's why I get paid the big bucks, because I'm telling you stuff. I disagree with what he's doing, but. And this is a big but. if he goes through with this, he's putting it on the line. And I gave him major props for it. Like I said, I think what he's doing is incorrect. I think it's wrong. I think it's going to harm us. We came from 4 years of every Republican I know literally bitching about the prices of things, and this guy is going to institute tariffs that are going to increase prices. It's a tax. It straight up is. There's no way around it. The companies are not going to absorb it. We're going to pay it. But with that said, maybe 5 years down the road, this works out. It's like I told my good friend Bill, brother Bill. I said, I don't know. Is this going to be like Biden? The Build Back Better America thing, he wasn't ever going to see the benefits of it. I mean, it wasn't until the end of 2023 they actually started installing electrical charging stations across the United States, right? 2 years after the bill passed, right? Let's just say hypothetically, and I in no part agree with this, but let's just give the devil his due. Let's say this works. We've got 2 years of solid pain till they can build back the infrastructure. They can build back the factories. You just don't, you don't all of a sudden just have an empty building and build a factory. It doesn't work that way. And if you don't believe me, think about the problems we had when COVID came down the line. And factories had to shut down, and literally to try and start new industries for paper towels or new factories for hand sanitizer. Or how about masks? Remember that? Remember how we couldn't get any of them for literally 6 months? I worked in a hospital. We couldn't get N95 masks for literally 6 months. I mean, literally, I thought it was going to be like a scene out of John Wick where they put saran wrap around my entire body. Unfortunately, I was alive and I wasn't dead, like Dinner Reservation for 8, right? If you haven't seen John Wick, I don't know if we could be friends anymore. Just saying. I'm just saying. But are the people going to put up with that pain for the next 2 to 3 years of higher prices, 25% higher on everything? I got 2 words. F no. Now, I know he's not running again. He is cognizant of that fact. He's taking a big swing at this. Even though I disagree, hey, kudos, man. It's bottom of the ninth. You got 3 guys on. You're down by 4 runs. Go ahead, take the big swing. But where he's making a mistake is we're less than a year before we get back into the election cycle. And you got 218, 220 members of the Republican Party running in the House. You got 33 Senate seats up for, which I think the Republicans have 18 running. Okay, let's see how long they stand with you. Now, tonight, like I say, this is recorded on Wednesday, that 4 Republicans, there was a Democratic resolution, 4 Republicans went across the aisle and rebuked this tariff, this policy on tariffs. Already getting some blowback here, right? Let's just talk about it. So Donald Trump declared a national economic emergency, announced tariffs of at least 10% across all countries. Hey, look, and like I said, I'm not going to beat the dead horse, but yeah, damn right, I'm going to beat the dead horse. I don't even understand what he was saying with reciprocal tariffs. I don't even think he did. I mean, really, at what point do you need the signs to say, hey, this cat's got Alzheimer's? This guy has cognitive dysfunction. I don't even know if dysfunction's a word, but god dang, it applies to this cat. China, they got smashed the hardest. Second top importer to the United States behind Mexico. Lucky Mexico, you're up next. Will now face a 54% tariff under the new policy. Okay. See how long that lasts. Beijing, along with the EU, has already threatened retaliatory tariffs. Yeah. China in a dictatorship. Yeah, I have a real funny feeling what's going to happen. The after-hours U.S. stock market, as well as the Asian markets, fell sharply. Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics, which is one of the top Wall Street economic firms that analyzes the economy. If the administration follows through on these higher tariffs without significant carve-outs, it's going to be very difficult for the economy to digest this. A recession seems more likely than not this year. At the end of the day, I heard for 4 years from him and his tribe, Trump, that prices are too high, they're going to go lower. This guy is literally doing napalm here. He is throwing accelerator on the gasoline with a fire, right? That's what the cat's doing. Kimberly Clausing, senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, described Wednesday's tariff announcement as very wrong-headed and much worse than I could have anticipated. I thought it would be bad, but not to this degree of self-harm. It's just astounding that anyone would think this is a good idea. Amen. I mean, here's the thing. We have record low unemployment, okay? Well, it'll probably be going up with all the firings at the federal agencies. But at some point, where are you going to get the workers for it? Now, you're deporting, quote-unquote, people who are here on green cards, illegals, whatever, and somehow you're going to get them. And then somehow, in your mind, and explain this to me, we're supposed to have factory workers here at $20, $25 an hour compete on an economic basis with other countries that pay their workers 5 cents an hour. Isn't that why we buy from those countries? Because their product is so much cheaper? I don't know. Forget the tariffs. Talk about the basic cost. That's why look, when we had the Industrial Revolution, let me explain this to you. And I'm sure you already know it, and I am not talking down to anybody. I'm just trying to put some pieces together that I don't see anywhere else in the podcast world. Is when we as a world went from the when we went from an agrarian world to the industrial world, people moved out of the farms into the cities to start creating things, to start making things, right? We have moved as a country, the United States, from an industrial one to a technological and a green one. Think about it. When you have a kid, are you raising the kid to go work in an office and use their brain or go work in a factory? And I am not demeaning it. I'm a carpenter. Okay, I was a carpenter my whole life. There's no shade to be thrown on that. But that's not the way our society goes. We want them to use their brain. We want them to use their skill so that hopefully they can make more money. Like, I have a little brother. Okay? He went into IT. He didn't use his hands. He didn't use his back. Kudos to him. And he made eminently more than me. That is the dream of every parent, is to have your kid use their brain. I don't understand where this whole thing of, hey, we need to put 20 million people back in industrial factories. Where is that coming from? Maybe I missed that memo. And I'm a union member. I'm a proud union supporter. I love the union. And I'm not denigrating it, but I don't see the push out there to go, look, all the high schools have got rid of trade school. They've all got rid of it. I don't know. Just seems crazy. The Japanese Nikkei 225 tumbles 4% after the Trump tariff. That is the top 225 companies in Japan. Obviously, the world is looking at it. Australia, their PM said this is not the act of a friend. Kudos to you, Kat. We shall see. We shall see, my friends. All right. President Donald Trump, especially, what a coincidence this is, announced, has told his inner circle that Elon Musk is going to be stepping down. Okay? So Elon has been running roughshod with a battle axe, with a chainsaw, whatever you call it, through the federal government, and he hasn't had to get a security clearance, any type of vetting, anything like that, because he is, quote unquote, some type of special assistant, and the government allows you 130 days before you have to get vetted. Okay. So Trump's saying he's going to leave. Now, I'm sure it's just me being cynical, Jay. That's what my brother Scott always tells me. Jay, you're the cynical one. I said, yeah. It's because I'm the realist. Damn straight. But it does come on the heels of the last week where Elon was out in Wisconsin with a cheese head, giving out $1 million checks. You know, of course, one to the head of the Young Republicans in Madison, Wisconsin, which I'm sure was just strange coincidence, strange luck. And then they lost. They got smoked. Okay. And, you know, I did see a clip on the Bulwark of Elon talking about how this is going to be just integral and essential for the 2028 election, and it's going to be a big thing for the House of Representatives, and it's going to be for the government and the United States history and the future, and how it's going to change the world. I literally saw that clip. I already gave you my one clip for the night, okay? My software doesn't allow 2 clips at this juncture. It will soon, I'm sure, though. Let me tell you something. I am thankful every day I got one clip. I got one clip, okay? Hey, I'm a guy, okay? Only got one shot in the holster, okay? But the president claims he's happy with Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, but both have decided in recent days that it will be time for Musk to return to that doomed car company that he owns, Tesla. I think we can all call it what it is. He's a political liability. Trump wants to somehow sashay him back out of the White House. He wants to keep access to his money because it's going to be very essential next year in congressional races, right? But a month ago, officials in the White House were saying that Musk was here to stay for the entire term and that Trump would find a way to blow past the 130-day limit. Yeah, if he wanted him there, you know he would. Doesn't seem like any other rules or laws apply to him. Doesn't seem like he cares. Hey, I'm just going to break the law. Take me to court. And if you rule against me, maybe I'll abide by it. Maybe I won't. Tell that to the cat from Maryland who's in a San Salvador jail. Can't get him out. F you. One senior official in the Trump administration says that Musk is very likely to remain in quote-unquote informal advisor. I'm going to tell you right now, Tesla's done. You got Tesla stock, get rid of it. The people on Wall Street are going to bullshit you, and I'm going to use that word, bullshit you, and tell you it's coming back and everything is cool. That company is dead. I'm telling you, it's just like the scene in the Titanic where the captain tells the engineer, he goes, what can we do to save it? And he goes, no matter what you do, this ship is doomed. And that's Tesla. Because all the liberals bought, and now the liberals, unfortunately, I feel bad for them. And do not vandalize their car, please. Please. They're well-meaning people. Okay? You want to give them a Nazi salute? I'm cool with that. Okay? But don't mess up their car. Okay? They did it because they wanted to be green. They wanted to save the world. They wanted to do what was right. And all of a sudden they found out that Adolf Hitler ran the company. Okay? We didn't know. We just thought he had a bad hair transplant. Okay? And have you ever heard Elon talk? It's like, what was English? Like his 15th different language? He acts like he's so smart, but it is so chopped up. Maybe tomorrow I'll play a clip of that guy talking. And literally, I'm like, wow, this is the guy cutting education in the United States? God dang. Yeah, okay. Okay. The guy who came over on a student visa and then quit going to school to start running his companies in violation of a school visa? Deport. Jesus. Wonder how Canada feels about the dual citizenship they gave him. Oh, Christ's sake. All right. This is a story that it's kind of close to my heart, but it's kind of somber. Audrey Hale, if you don't know the name, she's the 28-year-old who shot up a Nashville school 2 years ago. Killed 6 people, 3 9-year-old kids, 3 teachers, and then she killed herself. And the Nashville police released a report on it. CNN obtained the copy, and it said Hale bore no grudge against the school or staff and considered them to be innocents and victims on par with herself. And the reason she did it, I apologize. She was gunned down by police. I thought she took her own life. But after conducting interviews and reviewing Hale's digital devices, online accounts, artwork, they came to the conclusion, the Nashville Metro Police Department, that the motivation behind the gruesome attack was notoriety. We live in a country where this lady has access to assault weapons. Yeah. And because she had a personal connection to the school from earlier in her life, which they really didn't detail, she felt she was happy to go there and die. And 6 beautiful people died. 6 people died. Yeah. Maybe one day somebody from the NRA can explain to me how the amount of guns keeps going up in the United States every year. And as they claim, it's going to, quote unquote, make us safer, but the number of gun deaths goes up every year too. I'd really like to get that explanation. I really would. We live in a society where we have more cars than ever, and drunk driving deaths have went down every year for 15 years, basically. Yeah. All right. I just want to fucking cry. Just thinking about those 6 people. They got brothers and sisters and moms and dads, and they just went to school. Yep. Yep. It's all about freedom, right? It's all about freedom. Okay. Compose myself. So, last Friday, the Trump administration, Donald Trump specifically, granted another pardon. And they didn't release it to the media. The media did find out about it through an executive order, that it was an executive order on Monday. He commuted the sentence of a man who aided Republicans' efforts to impeach former President Joe Biden while serving a prison sentence of over 14 years for defrauding Native Americans and other investors. All right. As long as you got something to say about Hunter Biden or Joe Biden, everything else is cool. Shame Ted Kaczynski ain't around. Hey, I met Biden one day at a rest stop. Yeah, bet you did, Joe. A notice of clemency for Jason Galanis was released Monday by the Department of Justice though the president signed the order Friday without a public announcement. Here's where you want to throw up. And if you're drinking something, please put it down, because it's not going to get pretty here. Glennis is the second associate of Hunter Biden who testified in the Republican impeachment inquiry. That went nowhere. To receive clemency in recent days from Trump, who has repeatedly used his executive power to reward allies or people he feels were unjustly treated by the federal law enforcement, including 1,600 rioters on January 6th. Thank God we got them back on the streets. But listen to this. Wait for this. You're going to like this one. What was Glennis put in jail for? Magic 8 Ball? Because he's a prick? Yeah. A deceiving prick? Yeah, wow. Magic 8 Ball is really on the ball tonight. Glennis, who was sentenced in August 2017 in federal court in New York to 14 years and 5 months in prison for his role in a bond scheme, wait for it, that defrauded the Oglala Sioux tribe and pension fund investors out of tens of millions of dollars. Let's just take the blanket and the food out of the young squaw's mouth. Yep. Sounds like great stuff. Now listen to this. Here's something you're not going to hear anywhere else. Oh, God. I don't even know how Trump was able to put the pen to paper on this one. The judge, when he sentenced him in 2017, told him he had to forfeit $80 million that he acquired illegally, wait for it, and pay an equal amount in restitution. Okay? 2017. This human scumbag has been in jail for 8 years. Okay? Wait for this. Wait till you find out this little bonus Jeopardy question. Trump's clemency order absolves him of the financial penalties as well as having to serve the remainder of his time. The prick gets his money back. The $80 million was going to go to the people he defrauded. Try and get your head around that. He defrauded an Indian nation. He defrauded investors, bondholders, whatever you want to label them. Now, it doesn't tell me how much got paid or whatever, but whatever got paid, they got to pay him back. Can you imagine getting swindled by this human piece of shit? And then you get the money. You get there's a judge. Oh, okay, I feel your pain. He says, okay, we're going to give you back your money. You have the money, and then 8 years later, this clemency, you got to give the money back to this piece of crap. Yeah. That happened. All right. Thank you for staying with me today. I know I got a little animated. I got a little emotional today. It's, you know what? I really love doing this with you. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to do a short on this story itself. But don't be sad because it's coming to an end today. Be happy because we're in this together. I love you all. We're going to win. We're on this right side of it all. We're on the right side of humanity and morality and empathy and love. And we're going to save this goddamn democracy no matter how hard they try and take it from us. All right. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'd appreciate it, and I will see you soon.